official store opening of our brand new location. We've been going for 30 years. And I want to thank Yamaha for organising these great guys to turn up. And thank you for coming along to celebrate this occasion.
Good afternoon to everybody. We are Tower of Power Horn, and my name is Emilio Castillo. I'm the band leader. This is Tom Hollister, lead tenor sax. Stephen Doc Kupka on the baritone sax. Sal Cracchiolo on trumpet. Adolfo Costa on trumpet. We're going to play just a couple of things for you. We're going to open up for questions. All right? Guys ready?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We came to play. Right? Remember, no rhythm section.
You guys don't need that.
1, 2, 3. I just want to say, this is a new store, right? Brand new. Yeah. Right. We like the sound of this room.
Yeah.
We like the sound back there even better. But we're not disappointed with this room. Sounds really good. It's early morning. We're just waking up. To us, anyway. And we're going to have a few seconds before we play this next ditty for you. And so, does anybody out there have a question for us? Yeah. And everybody clams up.
How have you found the changes over the long time you guys have been together? The changes in personnel?
Sure. You're going to need to talk slower.
So you've had a lot of changes in your lineup over the years. How have you, particularly as some core members of the group, found adapting to new players coming into the group, and any issues around that?
No issues as long as they fit in well. And generally, the only people that make it as far as the audition process are people that potentially will fit in well. A lot of times we don't even have to audition. We already know some people that, that we give them a call and they kind of drop in. Usually it's people that are qualified to play tower power concept music. And then they come in and we give them, we do what we call take them to Tower Power 101. Within a couple of weeks, they're really knowing how to play tower power music. Sometimes a little longer, but they're usually just a couple of weeks because you really can't get in this band unless you have a certain caliber of musicianship. So usually guys come in, they figure it out pretty quick. And then it's just a matter of gelling personality-wise. We learned many years ago to start living right. You know, we had done our share of living wrong. Nearly lost our band and our lives over it. And around 1988, we changed all that. And at that time, we started really looking for people that were more principled in their lives because we spend a lot of time together, a lot of time in a bus with 12 bunks. So you want to be with people that you know you can be, you can say you're proud to be with them. I can say all 10 of the guys in the band right now, and for quite some time, over 30 years, even before that too, for the most part, really people I'm proud to work with. Good question. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to do the horn licks from this song called Soul Vaccination. In the middle of the song, we'll feature Tom Powell taking the tenor solo. And then there's going to be a baritone breakdown and the horns are going to come in. And, I think you'll like it. Soul Vaccination. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Checker. playing in town tonight at the Croxton Band Room. Is anybody coming? That's what we like to hear.
And we'll see you in Sydney tomorrow night.
What's that?
I'll see you in Sydney tomorrow night.
Oh, great. We're actually elated to be down here in Australia. For those of you who don't know, Australia has been a thorn in our side for almost 50 years. We have wanted to come here and haven't had many gigs. But we started coming down to, what's that?
Caloundra.
Caloundra. And we went there, I think, 3 times. First time we did okay, second time a little better. Last time we went there, we did 3 different shows at 3 different stages in 3 different days, and they were all excellent. We were hoping that made some sort of an impact, but now we come back down here. There's actually this cruise ship that docked here last night, and Dave Kaz is doing his Dave Kaz cruise. And we played there last night, and a bunch of our former members were there. Richard Elliott, Steve Grove, who goes by Huge Groove now, and then we had a lot of our friends also. Candy Dulfer was there. Ellis Hall sang with us, our former lead singer. Obviously Dave Cobbs. We had Rick Braun, Ambrose Logan,
Gerald Albright.
Oh, Gerald Albright. Wow. And they all played with us on What Is Hit. Twice. We did phenomenal. So we did that, and now we got these 3 gigs in Australia, and then the ship's coming through again. Same ship, different 2,000 people though. So we're going to do it all again before we leave. So we're really excited about being down in Australia. We thank you for having us. And we're only supposed to play 2 songs today, but we're going to give you a little extra.
Yeah, cool.
So, I told you before, you know, I'm the band leader, he's the very sax player, but we're also songwriters, me and him. And many years ago, I had a little soul band called Motown, and Doc heard us, and he came up to me after I said, this is 1968, by the way. He says, you got a nice band. I said, oh, thank you very much. He goes, only one thing wrong. I go, yeah, what's that? He says, your horn section. It needs a little body. By the way, I played the baritone saxophone. So he came in the band and we did Tower Power from his first gig, which was August 13th, 1968. And at the time, we were playing soul music, but we didn't like to be like all the other soul bands. We wanted to do the obscure material, and then I used to kind of mess with those songs and change the beat, come up with different horn lines, change the background vocals. And he came up to me one day and he says, you know, what you're doing with these songs is amazing, but why are we doing it to everybody else's songs? Why don't we write our own? And honestly, you know, I was a 17-year-old teenager. I was loving what I was doing. I don't know if that thought ever would have come to me. But I looked at him, I said, we can try that. And we got together a week later, and we wrote our very first song. And to this day, it's one of our most popular tunes. And it's called You're Still a Young Man. Trumpet player's nightmare. All right, so when we're on stage, I always say, this one goes out to all the friends of Bill W. You're still a young man. Thank you very much. I always have to take my watch off because when I clap my hands, I break it. So we're going to play one more for you, but we're going to take a break for a minute since I've been so brutal on these trumpets.
Yeah.
We'll give their lips a little hiatus, and we'll open it up for some more questions. So raise your hand, and I will call on you. Yes, sir, in yellow shirt.
So you and Doc did the arrangements for the horns?
In the beginning, I did the arrangements.
Okay.
And not only the horn arrangements, but the rhythm section, the background vocals, and like that. And we did that for several years. And then we needed a trumpet player because there was a band called Cold Blood, and they stole our trumpet player, Nick Gillette. There was another band that was really good called The Loading Zone. The lead singer of that band, Linda Tillery, she went off on her own and she started this band called Sweet Linda Divine. She had this little kind of dweeby looking hippie trumpet player. And we were watching this guy, man, and he was a good player, and he had worked up some good horn parts for that band. And Doc said, we need to get that guy. And so we got Greg Adams, and he came in. We were still doing head charts, but every so often he'd say, hey, right here, we can do this chord. And he sort of came from a big band background. At first, he was, he wanted to throw all these jazz chords and big band chords, and we were just kind of reeling him in and saying, no, we play soul music. And, but eventually, he really grew into the concept, and he started doing more arrangements. And then it became clear he was a horn arranger. And for 25 years, he held that chair with Tower of Power. Some these are arrangements we just played, for instance, were his. And great horn arranger. He left in the early 90s, and we hooked up with this guy named Dave Eskridge, who's been arranging for us ever since. I don't know if you guys know, but we have a new record out. It's called Soul Side of Town, and Dave Eskridge's horn arrangements on that record are phenomenal. And we also got a little carried away while we were making the record, and we did way too much material. So we recorded 28 songs, and the idea was to record way more than you need and pick the best 12. But we got a new record deal with this record company called Mac Avenue Records, and when they heard all the material, they wanted to release it all. And so we have released Soul Side of Town, and the second album is completed, mixed, sequenced, ready to go. We're starting to work on the title and the packaging now, and before the year is out, the plan is to release the other CD. So you can look for that in the future. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
Has there ever been a time where any of you, or even any of the other members in the band, if you've talked about it, where any of you ever questioned how much you're enjoying doing what you're doing, and is there any kind of mental strategies you've used if you've hit a rough patch to get through that, I guess?
We make the music exactly the way we want it to be. We don't try to be like somebody else. We don't chase trends. You're not going to hear the new reggae Tower of Power album, the new hip-hop, rap Tower of Power. We have our own signature, our own voice, and that makes it really easy to go to work every day. And as I said before, we're very careful about who we allow into the band. It's not just how you play, it's how you live. And that makes it also very easy to go to work every day because these are people that I love. We love each other, like family, And so, when you ask a question like that, I can tell you that, it depends on which day you ask me. But generally, for the most part, we are just loving playing this music every day of our lives, and we count it a blessing that we've got to do it this long. When people say, how long are you going to do it? When will you retire? And my patented answer to that is, there is no retirement in the Bible. That's a man-made thing. So we're going to pop till we drop. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
with the physical demands of this repertoire and the hectic touring schedule? Even just then, it looks crazy. You're all working really bloody hard.
Yeah, well, for one thing, you have to understand we've been doing it like this for 50 years.
Yeah.
We know. I mean, I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. I got a lot of friends over there. A lot of these people, they know what I do, and they'll say to me, I mean, how can you travel like that? And I say, it's all I've ever known. I've done it since I was 17 years old. I'm 60. I'll be 69 in September. So, it's what we know, and we kind of got it down to a science. It's a logistical nightmare having a 10-piece fan when we do our clinics. People will say, do you have any advice for young people that are just starting out? And I say, yeah, start a trio. But, we're very fortunate that we started and we were 10 and we've stayed that way. So we got it down as like a science, but we have to take care of ourselves, And some travel days are harder than others. And we know when they're going to be hard and we prepare for them. And sometimes, certain guys in the band, they need some space. They're having a tough day and they need some space. And we give them that space. Other times they need to be built up and encouraged. And we build them up and encourage them. And we also keep an eye on that. If we see somebody getting unhealthy with his, lack of exercise or eating habits or whatever, we'll gently sort of, urge them to take a look at that, because we want everybody to stay here. We don't want to just keep playing until we can't. We want to play at this level as long as we can. And obviously the goal for someone like us is, play less, make more. But we'll see what God has in store for us. Right now we do about 200 days a year, every year like clockwork. And that's not all gigs. Some of those are travel days and off days on the road. We have 2 days off next week right here in Australia. But we take care of ourselves, and not only physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, we take care of ourselves. We help each other. Anyone else?
Do you guys realise that?
Hold
Sorry.
on. This young lady was first.
I was just wondering, you were saying you've done this since you were 17.
I'm sorry, you gotta speak up and talk slow.
You were saying you've done this since you were 17.
Yes.
Has this style of music been all of your lives, or are any of you from we both study saxophone? We go through every style of saxophone playing, and with the same for brass as well. So are any from different backgrounds, or is it just this style every day?
I started as a classical clarinet player for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And then when I started playing saxophone, it was big band jazz.
Yeah.
And I later progressed into soul and funk music. These guys too.
Yeah, I started with a classical background.
Yeah.
Any trumpet players here ever heard of James Stamp?
Yeah.
I studied with Jimmy for 3 years. But I played all kinds of different genres, but you just gravitate. The thing is, do what you love. And if you can make a living doing something you love, like we say, you never work a day in your life.
I started out on hobo. Oh. And when I was in school, we played concert band orchestras and pit orchestra for Broadway shows. I really enjoyed that when I was a kid. And then when I heard James Brown and Sam and Dave and Otis Redding and all that, I switched to Barry, learned how to play, got on the scene, and was lucky enough that the audition process for Guitar Power back then was not what it is today.
I started at 14 years old, and the Beatles had just come out. And I'd like to tell you that, I took lessons and practiced really hard for years and years, and then joined the band. I did it exactly backwards. We started a band the first day, and then we learned how to play. I've got a band ever since. My older brother, 10 months older than me, by the way, Jack was the drummer, and so he naturally was the leader of the band. He was older. And we were into it about 6 months, and my mom and dad were very supportive. And my dad looked at me one day and he said, "You have to be the leader." And I was like, "What?" He said, "You have to be the leader." I don't want to be the Jack's the leader, he's my little brother, He goes, "No, you have to be the leader because you're the one that has the musical talent. You're the one that's telling these guys what to do. You have to be the leader. You forced me to be the band leader. So I've been a band leader ever since I was 15 years old. And, you know, I played rock and roll for a couple of years. I always like the more soulful rock and roll, I will say that. I like the Animals, you know, the Yardbirds, and, you know, the Alan Price set, and the Rolling Stones. You know, we were much viewers players. But at 16 years old, I saw this band called the Spiders. They were playing soul music, and they had 3 horns, and they were tight, and they had great background vocals, and a really soulful lead singer. And my life changed that day. I hired a trumpet player the next day, and that was Mick Gillette, who knew that right in my neighborhood, one of the world's greatest trumpet players was living right there. My brother knew him, and he came and played, and I was determined I was going to be as good and as tight as the Spiders, you know. And I sort of had blinders on for about 3 or 4 years. All I listened to was soul music. And when Doc told me, you know, why don't we write? We started writing songs, and he starts telling me about his love of Broadway show music and, you know, great songwriters. And then my mind opened again. I started listening to all forms of songwriters. Jimmy Webb, Burt Bacharach, all those writers that came out of New York City in 1625 Broadway in the Brill Building, you know, Curtis Mayfield. I love songs, I love great songwriting, and eventually I found my place in the band. My place is to be band leader and facilitator of great musicians. I'm not a great player. I play parts, you know. I sing a little bit, but I'm not a great singer either, you know. But I'm really good at helping good players play together. And what that grew into was producing. When we started making records, I did the first 2 records with some other producers, and I'm watching them and I'm going, I would do something different, you know. And so the 3rd record, I produced for my first time, and after that, most of the Tower Power albums, you know. And once again, my mind opened up, and I started studying the production of the great records that I loved, you know, like those records from the 60s, from the Brill Building writers in 25 Broadway. I started listening to Motown and Memphis, just listening to the way those records were made. There was a big movement out of Philadelphia at the time, Philadelphia soul music, Tom Dell, Gamble and Huff. I studied their production like a boy going to school, because I wanted to hone my craft as a record producer. And that really helped me. But soul music is my passion still today. I've got a great soul band and great guys to play. Yes, sir.
It's a bit like which is your favorite child? Of all the collaborations you've done with bands over the years, what's been your favorite?
I'd have to say Huey Lewis and the News, because we played on several of their records. But Huey, when he was number 1 in the world, we had known him a couple of years by then, and we were sitting in every so often, and he had a big hit with the Harder Rock and Roll and I Want a New Drug and all those songs from that sports album. And he said, you know, I wonder if you would go on the road with me, you know. And I said, no, I have the band, you know, I have the band, but I can't just take the horns and go away. And he said, well, you know, we're doing pretty good. It's a big world tour. We can pay you a lot of money, you know. And we were not doing so well at the time, you know. And we could use that money, you know. But I made a deal with him. I said, you know, if you promise to promote the band at every turn, in every interview, prominently on stage in the live show, and if you allow me to bring the band out, the full band, to do midnight shows after the big concerts at the arena at the local club downtown, and you announce it at the arena, and you guys come down and sit in with us there. So we'd be playing, you know, at Jones Beach in New York City, and he would announce to 26,000 people, we're going down at midnight to do a midnight show. Tower Power is playing at the bottom line, and we're all going down and we're sitting in. And we get there for these late night shows, and the place would be besieged. He single-handedly sort of helped us resurrect our career. And so we toured with him like that for about 4.5 years. Great, We did a lot of gigs in between, and a lot of midnight shows after their stuff, and things got better for us. So we saw eye to eye musically. He wound up recording one of our songs, a song called Simple as That, a song Doc and I wrote. And we just saw eye to eye musically, and we're very close friends with all the guys in the band. And I would say that was the best collaboration we ever.
Back with the girl.
Yes.
Can we expect a midnight show tonight?
So pretty close. I think we're down at 11. All right, how you doing, Sally?
That's it, man.
You good?
Hell yeah.
All right, so we're going to play. No, we're going to open it up to you. Who else has a question?
There's a man over there.
Have to reach here. Did you have a question?
I was more of a comment. I've been playing 40 years now, professionally as a horn player. And I don't know if you guys realise how big an influence you are to all horn players around the world. I mean, with Huey Lewis and News and the Tower of Power horns. I mean, that's the reason I bought the album, not because of Huey, it's because of you guys. And you're our Beatles, for a horn player. It's just to thank you. You've been such an influence on a lot of players throughout the world, let alone.
You asked.
Yeah, because I've never seen you guys live. This is just, about to retire, and you guys are here.
That's why we wanted to come down here for so long, and we're glad we're here. But I mean, we oftentimes in the States after shows we go out and sign autographs, and usually when people go through, it's not just the autograph. They want to come and they tell you, I was there in '73 in Poughkeepsie, New York, when you took the chance, and then they're telling us this whole story. We're like, you gotta move along, it's here, And so, we know the impact we made on people's lives. People come up and say, we named our son after you. I'm a sober guy too, no drugs, no alcohol for over 30 years. I got people coming to me, hey man, I'm sober too. And, I'm also a Christian, and I talk about God a lot when I do interviews and stuff. And people come through the line, yeah, brother, I heard your testimony. So we know we have an impact on people's lives, and we take that into consideration in the way we represent ourselves in the world.
I just want to say myself, when I was a kid in rural Australia listening to those Huey Lewis things on the radio, that made me want to play as well. So, wow. Thank you. I just want to say thank you.
No, you're welcome.
You really inspired me. I'm terrified. I'm going to say that.
What's that?
I'm going to say that.
Bird Larson.
Yeah. I had no idea that you had played.
We've all, the whole sax section's playing bird.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I thought only trumpet players talked about mouthpieces.
It's spiraling, that's it. It's spiraling to the mouthpieces.
The number.
We'll talk later.
Anybody else?
I'm a baritone player and just wanted to know, what do you practice? Do you practice? And what's the best method of practice for sound and that sort of thing?
Sound long tones, scales, a lot of chromatic scales, and playing for fun along with records you write. And myself, I never did much improvising or study of it. All my thrust went into songwriting, but that's an anomaly. I mean, most good sax players know how to improvise. So anyway, but that's what I did.
Tell us how you get your sound to your setup.
Oh yeah, I got it. What I do is a wide lay mouthpiece and a thin reed. So that's really good for low, flexibility for low. So when I started on 110, the bird laws are 110 over 1 or whatever was the bottom number, and 2.5 read, I went up to 120, and a 2 read, and now I'm up at a 130 with a 1.5 read. I had to work up to that. But the thin, the thin, I use plastic cover reed just for some reason, I just really like them there. And anyway, so wide lay and thin reed is what works for me.
Can you just show us your sound? You do the things on the stage, you're so that's an interesting.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna buy now.
I buy a 120 over O SMS, big one, that one, not the thin one.
And you like it?
I've been on it for 45, 50 years.
Must like it.
The older ones were really good.
Ours have been worked on.
Good.
Really good. This is a 130 over 0 SMS that was refaced by Brian Powell.
That's a 130?
Yeah, but it was refaced. Brian told me it's a 124. Oh yeah, we all play Yamaha. Me and the custom Z's. I like the black lacquer one.
Big fat tone, in tune from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
Edge, but it's got a big fat tone. Love it. Good volume too. Show them how loud you play. Loudest tenor player I've ever played with. I love it. Anybody else?
Which of your albums have you sold the most copies of? It's probably a bit hard to tell now with digital downloads.
Sorry, so you gotta talk.
Talk slower and louder, sorry. Which of your albums have you sold the most copies of? Perhaps a little hard to tell now with digital downloads, but...
I think probably the Tower of Power album that has What Is Here Prominent and so forth.
Yeah.
That's when they gave us a gold record. Although back to Oakland, I'm sure it's gone gold, they just haven't given us it. Typical record company.
Yeah. Do you have a favourite though?
Urban Renewal.
Yeah?
Yeah. Hands down.
Cool.
We thought we were firing on all 10 cylinders with that record. In terms of production, songwriting, performance, solos, Chester Thompson on the organ, and you think on the tenor sax, the background vocals, the lead vocal, everything about it. He was really proud of that.
Yeah, cool.
We're proud of most of our records. That's mine. I think Doc too. Urban Renewal.
No, I like that Caloundra.
There you go.
Did you have fun at Sheffield Lab recording? No?
We did not.
You did not?
For those of you who don't know, Sheffield Lab is a record company that puts out direct-to-disc recordings. Back then, when we did it, they were called audiophiles. They used really high-quality vinyl, and you cut to the vinyl. So when you recorded and you did an album, you had to play the whole A side of the album all the way through, no mistakes, and it had to be timed. And because it was such high-quality vinyl, and their company was famous for audiophiles, they wanted a broad spectrum of sounds. So they wanted, drum solos with tom-toms, and they wanted baritone sax, and some high trumpet, and they wanted sonically a bunch of different sounds. And so the guy that produced the record came and rehearsed with us in Lake Tahoe for 2 or 3 days, and we timed everything, and we altered the songs with certain solos and certain things that sonically, sound out in this really great recording. But when we went to go record the record, it was at MGM Studios in Culver City where The Wizard of Oz was recorded. And they made these really futuristic, big, huge microphones for us that were excellent. And we brought in extra musicians, Victor Feldman and the Vibes, and 2 great singers, Edie Lehman and Jim Gilstrap, and forget who else, but it was an augmented band. And we were ready. We had everything timed, we were ready, and we went in. But the board at the studio was from Judy Garland days. It was like an 8-track board, and then they had these toggle switches. So in order to do 16 tracks, you had to flip the toggle switch. And so they got these high-end microphones, ready to go live, But the guy's in there with this ancient board, and we started playing, and all of a sudden it's time for the tenor solo. Well, he had to flip the toggle switch in order to get to go to the solo. And he missed it. Stop. So then we're like, okay, we start again. We did this for 3 full days. Long days. And by the time the 3rd day came around, everybody's voice was trash. We hated the music. We hated the people making it. And we got about to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we took a dinner break. And the guy he kept on stopping. Because he didn't know when to flip the toggle switches. And so we were taking a dinner break. I told the guys, if we don't get it when we come back, we're out of here. We're done. So we came back, and he knew that we were only going to do 1 more take. And he got it, but as I said, by the time we got it recorded, the whole point was to record it first time out, great. Go to the grapevine, and we didn't achieve that, unfortunately. Over the years, people come up to me, they're always telling me, that Sheffield Lab record's amazing, and I'm just shaking my head.
I love that album.
That was 82. Oh no, 81. Got a few more minutes, anybody else?
What equipment do the trumpet players use?
Yeah!
Basically, it's a Yamaha 8310Z, but it has an Eric Miyashiro bell on there. Don't ask why, but it's an experiment, and I just kind of got so used to it, I switched back to my 8310Z, which I like a lot. I like all the Z's, basically. The mouthpiece is a Yamaha Bobby Shoe lead, which I've been playing for a long time.
Got the new Bobby Shoe C trumpet. I've actually been, both of us studied with Bobby. I started in '85, and I was a Bach guy, and I tried Bobby's horn, and that was it. And I try everything that comes out. Bobby told me that. I try every horn, every flute horn. This is what makes my job easier, with a beautiful sound. Like Mimi said, the pitch is amazing. And I was playing the Eric Miyashiro for a while, but this new one just knocks me out. And I'm playing the Wayne Bergeron GR mouthpiece, the studio one. I guess he's got about 4 mouthpieces. This is the lead mouthpiece. But if I play jazz, I play the Yamaha Bobby Shoe jazz mouthpiece. It's just a beautiful tone, almost like a Chet Baker kind of sound. I also have an Irving Bush W3 from Jimmy Stamp, and he got it from Irving Bush. If I do any classical stuff, another amazing sound, real dark. And the Yamaha Bobby Shoe flute. Yeah.
And then, for those of you who don't know who Eric Miyashiro is, he's a Hawaiian guy that lives in Japan. He's like the top trumpet player in Japan. And he was kind of came up playing in Tower Power Clone type bands in Hawaii. And we're all good friends with him. One time, our trumpet player couldn't make that particular gig at the Blue Note in Tokyo, and Eric played with us for a week there. Just a fabulous trumpet player, and he works really closely with Yamaha Japan, and so that's why we kind of know him, and we're aware of his work on the trumpets with Yamaha. Yamaha is a really committed company in terms of, they don't just make a great horn and then park there. They're always tweaking it. They're always doing something. There's a bunch of scientists over there. We work on our horns. They take such great care of us. But then they'll show up, and they'll go, I got this new horn. I'm like, it can't get any better. I love my horn. I'll just try it. And then I'll play it. I'll be like, God, I can't believe it. You're right. It's better. So we're going to give you this one. Okay. we love Yamaha. The horn's play great, big fat tone, people support us, and as I say, they're always tweaking their products. I highly recommend it. Yes, sir.
Just one more question. Do you tour with your own front of house and monitor engineers?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, our front of house monitor is a guy named Mike Droke. He also works with Babyface and Diana Ross, and also the hard rock group YMT. He's an excellent mixer. And then actually we have a monitor guy that used to mix front of house for us. His name's Jerry Manuel. Little short guy, they call him 0.5. Whenever Mike has to go to Diana Ross, we move 0.5 out to the front of house because he's an excellent mixer, and then we'll bring in a monitor. But yeah, we learned about 20 years ago how important it is to make sure we have really great employees that can really do the job and take good care of them. So we're as close to those guys as we are to each other. Anybody else? How about that little girl there on the shoulders? All right, well, we're going to play one more thing for you, and then we're going to go. And this is from a song that we have to do every night, and it never gets old. It's a high energy funk tune, and we just love it. I'm going to turn that on. Very popular. At any rate, this is a song called What Is Hip.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't play the whole song because we have bass and drums, but we're going to play the horn mix from the bridge where it goes, Hipness is what it is. We're going to play the horn mix from that part, and then we're going to go into the ride out and into the ending, and then we're going to leave and go get some lunch. All right? It's been a pleasure playing for you guys. We hope you enjoyed it. Here it is. Let's see. 1, 2, 3.